Good morning, all. Steven here. It's 11:19 in Ireland. We are 4 minutes late. Apologies for that. So I would like to welcome everyone who are here with us today. Just give perhaps 1 or 2 minutes to everybody start, and then we can begin with our initial prayer. Okay. Let me see if everybody is here. Yeah. We have some people joining us, so I will start the broadcast. So, good to see you, good to talk to you. It's been a while since I don't give my Sunday speech. And today we will talk about reason of faith. Let me put it my share here. Okay, great. Okay, so as usual, before we start, I'd like to invite everyone to do our initial prayer. So if you don't mind, I would ask you to calm down, relax. If you can close your eyes, but this is not mandatory or this is not required. And I will ask you to raise up your thoughts towards your mentor, toward the good spirits, asking them to send over us what we need in order to move on, in order to gather strengths, to overcome all the barriers we need to face, giving us wisdom. At the same time, we send this prayer to everyone who are in the hospital, who are with anxiety, depression. May Jesus' love fill up all those hearts at this moment. So be it. Amen. Okay. Okay. So as my my slide beside me, I hope you're seeing my slide. Today we're talking about the reason of faith. Okay, and we cannot talk about spiritism without a reason of faith. This is the principles of Kardec, saying you need to prove to yourself. I'm saying everyone have your beliefs. I would say perhaps what is good for me, what is good enough for me to believe in something, perhaps it's not good enough for you to believe that. Okay? So perhaps you need more or you need less. But the main thing, the main idea behind what Kardec was saying is don't believe just because someone imposed it to you. Use your rationality to believe that. If you believe, if fulfill all your boxes, then you can believe, you can move on. But if don't fill one of each boxes, you need to work on it. Okay? That's the main idea behind everything. And let me move on. And I would like to start asking, what is faith? why do you need faith? What's the challenge behind having a faith? And what we need to do that? So, faith, I know everyone has a challenge to believe. Everyone have difficulty to understand, because we cannot buy, let's say, a kilo of faith in the shop next door. Culturally, when we talk about faith to South American culture, it's easy to talk about it with them. Then we talk about faith to an European culture. Okay, the difference, it's mainly because European culture follow the original faith. Okay, tell me more and more. Give me the background. And when we talk to a South American culture, when you say you have to have faith, you need to believe it's enough. That person gather this and say, okay, I will work on that, and you can give your message. Okay. And most of us make the connection saying that faith, it is a religious thing. And that starts our first reflection of the day. Faith, in my opinion, is not attached, or it's a one dependent variable with religions. Faith, it's, do you believe in yourself? Do you believe in your capabilities? Do you believe in your strengths? Do you believe in your power to change your life, to do something for you? Okay, that's one part. Second part is, okay, religious. Well, when we talk about faith, we think about God, most of the cases, but that's what we need to keep in our mind, that faith, it's beyond what religious say. In the book The Consoler, on question 354, written by the medium Chico Xavier, he says, to have faith is to keep in the heart the luminous certainty in God, certainty that has surpassed the scope of religious belief, making the heart rest in a constant energy of divine realization of the personality. So, in other words, faith is to believe in yourself. Someone who is going towards the depression pathway, the first thing that person loses is the faith in herself, the faith in her life, the faith in God, if that person is a religious person. So faith guides us most of the time. Okay? And we need to have confidence and trust in ourselves, in something, because some people put the faith in an image, in a talisman. You know, if you need to do that, even though Spiritism says we don't need to use this, but if you need this, it's up to you. Again, it's a personal experience. It's a personal discovering not something imposed to you. Okay? So, I hope this is clear for you. I hope this is something you need to understand. So, the answer for the question, what is faith? I will leave this with you because it's up to you. You need to answer that question because, as I said, everyone have your own belief. Everyone have your own way to think. So it's up to you. Okay, so let's move. Uh, when we think about faith, we think about reason. And the question now is, does reason waive faith? So, like the picture I'm showing to you now, we have a lot. The words, has a lot of have a lot of problems like global warming, terrorism, nuclear threat, HIV/AIDS, and now COVID, unemployment, recession, economy downturn, and these reasons, human reason, it's a way to waive faith. It's okay. I need to work on this, and because of that, I cannot have time to work on my faith. So in the same book, The Counselor, on question 199, the medium Chico Xavier wrote, human reason is still very fragile and cannot exist without the cooperation of the faith that illuminates it for the solution of the significant and sacred problems of life. So, what it does mean? That means that the progress is the reason do not walk without faith, and faith do not walk without reason. And Chico Xavier still keep going. This progress is the reason without faith. This progress is of the reason without faith, where men lose themselves in an inglorious and endless struggle. So, you are progressing, you are going on your pathway, but when you lose your reason, you will lose your faith. When you lose your faith, you will lose your reason. They walk hand by hand. Okay? They walk hand by hand. One complements the other. And why reason is not always an infallible guide? Why? Okay. If you use reason, why this is, I cannot just stay with reason. I need faith. And then I need to ask the help from Kardec. And he wrote in the Spirit's book on question 75, item A, it will be if it weren't corrupted by poor education, pride, and selfishness. Instinct does not reason. Reason provides freedom of choice and gives individuals free will. Okay, what Kardec's saying here? We are human beings, and we do have our instinct. And this is instinct works without our action. Instincts trigger in order to self self-preservation of life. Okay, so we have our instincts. Okay, if someone gonna let's say give you a prank, you're gonna be scared. You're gonna do some movement without your without say, oh, he's carrying me, I need to stop him. You know, right? So, and this is the instinct is the primary form of intelligence. Okay, and they differ from intelligence because it's often spontaneous, and intelligence requires some planning. I will do this tomorrow morning. I will wake up. I will do this. I will follow that step. I will, and that's intelligence. Okay. And also in the same item, Kardec keeps saying instinct can manifest itself very differently between species based on their needs. In beings that possess self-conscious and the perception of things outside themselves, it is associated with intelligence, freedom of action and will. For example, I don't want to go into the topic about animals, because I know I have seen Facebook a lot of topics people saying about that, but animals, they do have instinct and they have a kind of intelligence, but they don't have the conscious of what they are. Example of that, if you put a mirror in front of your dog, in front of your cat, the animal will think it is another animal, not him. So they don't have the conscious of themselves, but they do have instinct. They do have the ability to self-conservation. No, they do have this. If you teach a dog how to do this or that, or a cat, if you train the dog, they will have this ability. Okay, so it's the lack of self-conscious. Okay, and I think that's very clear. So reason, in the problem we have in today, we waive faith by the reason. We allow our reason overcome faith. Instead of keeping them side by side. That's the biggest problem we have today. Okay, so let's move on here. Just saying why this is causing trouble, and the question now is where to locate the origin of the deviation of human reason. Okay, let me bring here some. And we can think, okay, Christianity, Jesus' lessons, and the word. We can think here in Europe, when we talk with a lot of Europeans, they always refer to crusades. And the crusades, it was a kind of moment they were killing in name of God. They are doing this in the name of God. They are doing that in the name of God. I know this caused a lot of controversy, a lot of conflicts, but The Christianity from this time to our time changed a lot. But the Christianity before this time, it was the pure Christianity, pure Jesus lessons. Okay. Another point is when we create dogmas. And what is dogmas? According to the Cambridge Dictionary, it's a fixed, especially religious belief or a set of beliefs that people are expected to accept without any doubt. So this goes entirely against what I'm exposing to you now. You need to believe, full stop, that's it. And that's not working. This is not why, this is one of the reasons why when you go to talk to different cultures, they say no. This is some reason why here us on the in the East continent, and we do a lot of prayer. But if you go to the Western civilization, like China, Japan, they do a lot of meditation, which is also a kind of prayer, because we need to get inside of ourselves. We need to get inside of us. And Jesus in the Bible said, when you want to pray to God, you need to go to your room, close your door, and pray alone. And pray inside of you, not pray alone, but pray with you. So what he does mean? Okay, forget about what's happening surrounding you, and start to make that connection just between you and him. So we need to use these lessons. And that's what Spiritism bring to us with the third revelation. It's rescue that pure Christianity. If you read in the introduction of the Gospel according to Spiritism, Kardec says we can divide the Bible in five main topics. I don't recall all the main topics, but say, okay, we can say about dubious things. We can work them. I think I do have here, but we have most of the thing. We have controversies, topics, and then we do have what is unchangeable. And what is unchangeable is the model of Christ. And that's what we work. Because I give you some example. Let's say if when Jesus walked through the waters, a lot of people saying yes, no, perhaps. Some people don't believe, other people believe. We're not. It generates a lot of conflicts, a lot of controversies. But when Jesus says you need to love one another, there is no controversy. There is nothing there. And this is what Spiritism concentrates the efforts in the model of Jesus. Okay? So I invite everyone to read the introduction of the Gospel according to Spiritism. Okay? It's on the first chapter. Let me see if I can have some book here. 1 second. I do have. But my secretary put in my books somewhere. Let me get it here. Okay. Yeah, I do have here the Gospel according to Spiritism. And I need to read this to you because this is very important. Let me get here. So here, in the introduction, allow me to read, guys. The gospel can be divided into 5 parts: the events in the life of Christ, the miracles, the prophecies, the words taken by church on which they base their dogmas, and the moral teachings. The first 4 have been object of controversies. However, the last has remained constantly inviolated. Before this divine code, even incredulity bows down. This is the common ground where all codes may be united. This is the flag under which all may gather whatever their creeds, for it has never been a matter of religious dispute, which has always in all places originated from dogmatism. Moreover, if it had been discussed, then all cults would have found their own condemnation within it, seeing that in the majority they have held on the more mystical rather than moral part that demands an intimate reform from each one. Okay, so I really, really recommend you to read the introduction. Okay, let's move on. Let's see what's and Spiritism faith. What Spiritism says about faith. And one when we want to think, Spiritism says you need to study. You need to dig in. There is no other way. Study and work. You cannot acquire faith without study, without work, without free examination, without the exercise of your free will. Okay? For this, I would say I need the help from one spirit, Kaiba Shuto. In his book, in Parables and Teaching Salvation by Faith, he said, religions and religious, in the matter of free examination, of free will for study, are like the blind in the face of light. They are like the deaf in their relation to sounds. Therefore, they have no faith. We need to study. We need to go. We need to see, examine, and then we say, I do believe. You cannot believe something. You cannot have faith in something if someone say, oh, you need to believe. That's it, full stop. You cannot contest. You cannot judge. You cannot do anything. In other words, faith is the confidence of the man in their destinations. The feeling that leads towards infinite power is sure to be safe on the road that leads to the truth. It's when, you know, that person, when he comes to you and say, hey, I'm thinking doing that. And everybody go against that person. And that person keep insisting in going to that pathway. Sometimes they succeed, sometimes they fail, and there are a lot of people saying, I told you, I told you, I told you. And when that person succeeds, nobody say, oh, well done, or no, nobody compliment. So we need to rest our faith in a solid foundation. And then I will use Leon Denis. He was a French writer, and he studied Spiritism in the 19th century. And in his book, After Death, on chapter 44, he says, faith must rest on the solid foundation offered by free examination and freedom of thought. Instead of dogmas and mysteries, shall recognize only the principles deriving from direct observation, the study of natural laws. Such is the character of the Spiritist faith. The philosophy of the spirits offers us a belief which, being rational, is all the more robust. The knowledge of the invisible world, the trust in a higher law of justice and progress, all this gives faith a double character of calm and certainty. In other words, I would say when we passing by a problem, most of us say, oh, why God is doing this to me? Why I need this? Why I need that? Why this happened to me? Why? Instead of say, what I did to go into this path. We always think someone is harming us, but we don't reflect in ourselves. I know a lot of people, they judge, they like to give like moral lessons to someone. Say the truth. Oh, I don't care. I say the truth in a whatever situation. I don't care if the person like or doesn't like. Okay, good, no problem at all. But when you say the truth to that person, they don't like. Why? Because it's easy to judge. It's easy to condemn. It's easy to point the fingers to someone. It's easy. It's easy to, oh, I don't know why that, I'll give a good example. I don't know. That person wants, I don't know, €1,000,000 per month in salary here. They need to pay his bills, do this, and why at the end, that person is always in financial problem. It's easy to pay your bills with someone. It's easy. But when we said this to you, oh, I have this, we have a lot of excuses, a lot of points that we say, no, I cannot do that. Let's say another point we need to reflect is, and we always use the excuse to make someone responsible for our actions, and this does not work like this. The third law of Newton, it's crucial. For every action, we always have a reaction. And saying that, we need to understand that God is God. And he's not there to, oh, he wake up in the morning, oh, okay, I see new Esteban doing that, okay, I will punish him. He doesn't punish. He'll love, and he doesn't punish. He doesn't punish. And he allows you to keep going on your free will. That's the main point. And again, we use the excuse to say, I need someone be responsible for my failures, which at that moment it's you. You are responsible for your own failures. I give you an example. It's like for those who have kids. When your children come to you and say this, that, sometimes you say no. At a certain point, they are with you. When you say no, they don't do it. But when they start to do their own free will, we can the only thing we can do is like give some advices and say, hey, don't do that, because if you do this, my life experience give me that type of reaction. But at the end, sometimes, and most of the times, they took the different path. It's like, especially teenagers, when you say, oh, go left, they go right. It's up to them. What do you do? You do. Most of the cases, you just pray, you just hope for the best, and you are there to help your children in any kind of situation. Even though you said to your children to take the right path, they took the left path. Even though they fail, they suffer, you will always be there to give a hand, to shake the dust, and move on. If we are incarnated with a lot of, let's say, problems, a lot of imperfections, we do this to our own children. Do you believe that God will punish us and say, no, Stephen did that. No, wait, no, forget it. No. He is with me and with you, whichever situation. Who goes apart is not God from you, it's you from God. It's you from your faith. I'm saying God, but you can, whatever you believe. You need to make that reunite. Okay? What more I can say here? I love this. I love this phrase. Faith is not about everything turning out okay. Faith is about being okay, no matter how things turn out. And we can see this in many friendships. I'm with you no matter what comes. I'm not judging here if it's right or wrong. I'm just saying. Loyalty. I'm just saying. Believe. And we can say, we can read on the gospel according to Spiritism, chapter 19, item 7. Faith needs a base, one that gives complete understanding of what we are asked to accept. In order to believe, it is not enough to see. Above all else, it is necessary to understand. Blind faith is no longer of this century. So much so that is exactly blind dogmatic faith which produces the greatest number of unbelievers today, because it tries to impose itself, demanding the abdication of the most precious prerogatives of mankind, which is a rationalization and free will. You do have your free will, But don't forget this. You do have your free will. Yes, you can do whatever you want. For those who seen my speech in the Lantern Center are sick to see to listen that, but I will repeat. Your free will is limited according to the experience you have lived so far. Example, I need to make a decision today. Today. It is 24th of May 2020. I have to make a decision today. Okay? And I will do this decision today based in what? I base what I have lived. I am 43-year-old, so I'm based on 43-year-old years of experience. I will make that decision. Okay? I analyze, since though I use the rationality and okay, I have a structure and okay, I will make that decision. But let's say in 10 years time, on 24th, May 24th, 2030, I'm here and I analyze and I realize that I will be with 50 years old. And so I will have 10 more years of experience. And then at that time, I will realize, that decision I made 10 years ago, it was not correctly. It was not right. Reason why? I just lived more. I just gathered more experience. And I'm sure for some reason you have this moment in your life. Decisions you have made in few years, few perhaps months or days, I don't know. You regret of your decision. Say, that was not the best decision I ever made. See? But we use our free will to make the decision. But the base, the tools to make that decision was limited. And the limitation is our experiences. Saying that, when you identify that you made a bad decision, the first thing you have to do is forgive yourself first, and then ask for forgiveness if you harm someone. If that person don't forgive you, that's not a problem. It's that person's problem. At least you humble yourself and say, I'm so sorry. I made that decision and it was a bad decision. I'm sorry for the harm, how I can make up with you. If that person do not do it, no problem. At least you went to that person and recognized that you were wrong. And the other way around, when someone realized that they did something to you and put you in very bad situation, and if that person realized that, you need to forgive that person, because that person came to you. If you don't forgive, then it's your problem, not that person anymore problem. See how things work. See how we use our faith. That's the what I want to give you today, and I would like to share this with you today, because we will go through some kind of explanations. I'm seeing a lot of people are watching us. Edi Paixão from Fortaleza. Hello, my friend. Thank you very much for being with us today. Be prepared, because you're going to be in our live very, very soon, okay? Let me see here more. Oh, our friend Claudia from Montevideo. Wow. Thank you very much. Okay, let's go to the questions. We do have some questions here. Claudia Silva. Let me see. Okay. When a child prays, God, I say God listens. Of course, when everybody pray, God listens. But I special attention to the child. Child, I would say, until you are 7, it's pure. I have a good story. I have a friend, and he tells me that he went with his daughter to a Disney World park, and at the time she was like, I don't know, 7, and the limit to go to the park was 6, and she wanted to go there, and he was training her to say, okay, if the security guard, if the guy asks you how old are you, you need to say I'm 6. Okay, daddy, I will do this, and they train all the way along to reach that park. How old are you? I'm 6. How old are you? I'm 6. How old are you? I'm 6. 6, 6, 6, 6. Okay, perfect. They bought the tickets. They bought it. When the security guard came to her and said, hey, child, how old are you? I'm 7. See? Is the pure. When a child do a prayer, is the way we needed to do our prayer. Without any judgment. We need to be pure of heart. It's me and my faith, my belief at that moment. Okay, so let me see. Claudia is still saying, Spiritism says that faith have double sense or path. Faith in yourself and faith in God. Yes, Claudia, correctly. You're absolutely right. It's two different types of faith. And I would say you cannot have faith in God without having faith in you. It's like when you love someone. If you really love someone, you will let that person go and live with that person, with that person that you loves. In other words, you let that person be happy with or without you. And what, in most of the case, what we do, we grab that person, we hold in our arms, and you say, I love enough for both of us. This is a conception of love. This is why a little bit of, I would say a tiny 0.01% of love God towards us. And we don't do this. We will still have that person with me, person together me, and I need to be me with me. If you really love someone, you let that person be happy with or without you. Let me see if I do have more comments here. Marcus, thank you. Mark saying, I'm enjoying a lot. Congratulations. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you very much. Anyway, if you do have any question, please, we still have like 12 minutes, so we can go through any questions. But see that we are the problem. We are the cause of our problems, ourselves. Sometimes we don't have a reason. We don't recognize that we did something. And a good mistake that the spiritist is doing is uh, all the time that a person who are spiritist, they say, "Oh, I have done so many bad things in my previous life. That's why I'm suffering." Yes, some of our trials today is because of our actions in the past. Yes, but it's not all of them. If you start to analyze how you treat your neighbor, how you behave with everyone, so you are suffering. I would say most of the times, the reason you are suffering is on your present day's decisions. And that's how we don't work. We prefer to say, oh, it's in the past. I don't recall my past. But no, it's today. Okay. Let me see here. Ana Carolina says, I think one of the most important things you said is how we are the one in charge of changing our lives. We are responsible for what happens, and we are also responsible for changing it. Perfect. I'm so glad you got it, Ana. That's exactly what I'm saying. You have the power in your hands. And again, if you need to seek a doctor or someone to help you to find your way, that are brilliant psychologists which give you the correct path to find yourself. That's I'm not a psychologist, but that's their work. They don't give you answers. They guide you to seek for answers. So don't be afraid if you need to go to a fraternal gathering, a fraternal assistance in Brazil, to the Spirit Center in order to see beyond. Because when we have a problem, we don't we are in within that problem, so we cannot see what is outside. It's like when you put your hands here, you cannot see what is beyond your hands. But when you put your hands part of you, you can see what is next. And that's what we need to do. But most of the time, we are blind. That's why we need the fraternal gathering. That's why we need the psychologist's works. We need to find our own way. And the first step to do this is recognize that alone, you cannot go longer as you are with someone. Okay, 3 minutes left. And let me see if we have any other comments here. Okay, I'm seeing here Dominic. Hey, Dominic. Hey, Alex. Hope to see okay there in UK. So we have UK, we have Uruguay, we have Brazil, we have Ireland. Oh, it's so nice people. That's the blessing to have these virtual meetings. So that's one way how we need to work up to beginning of March. we didn't have these virtual meetings. Okay, I would say everywhere. Just few people are doing that. And now we do have the blessing to have these virtual meetings, these teachings, expose Spiritism to its faith, to its beliefs. And I need to correct something. We don't believe, we understand. We need to understand. We need to find a reason there. If you are Catholic and you are completely happy with that, happy days. If you are Buddhist and you believe in the Buddhist principles, happy days. You see, since you believe, since you trust, that's what matters. Love someone is important, but most important is love you. How could you love someone if you don't love the other person? How could you say, I'm dying for that person? It means you don't give any value to your life. It's like to put a face mask when you are in the airplane. You need to put first the mask in case of the pressure. You need to put the mask, the oxygen mask in you first. Then you need to go to the other. And what we are saying, I'm including myself in that list. If I'm with my child beside me, I will put the mask first in her, then in me. And that's what we don't do. We need to learn how to do that. It is practicing. Everyday practice. Yeah, Carolina is asking if we will continue with the virtual meetings. I live a bit far from Dublin, so for me it would be great. Yeah, Zana, that's one of the decisions we are doing. Yes, I would say to you, somehow we will keep going with these virtual meetings for sure until when we can start to gather together. But yes, we will need to start to think about how we're gonna act or how we're gonna structure the meetings in Ireland when we have the green light to go back to seeing each other face to face. But definitely, I think having virtual meetings, perhaps not how often we are having now, but we will keep these. But it's not just my decision. We are a group of, we have a group decision, so I will advocate for that. But at the end, it's gonna be this group decision how we're gonna do. Okay. Okay, my friends. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks so much. I hope you enjoy. I know this is a very difficult topic. I know this is something we need to digest. I invite you to read the gospel. I invite you to read especially the introduction part in which Kardec puts his rationality behind everything. So, and this is why I'm in love with Spiritism. That is why I do believe we should work ourselves. Okay. Okay, so thank you very much. I hope you are okay. Don't forget, we do have our fraternal assistance, fraternal gathering. So if you need to talk to someone, please write to this email, fraternalgatheringdublin@gmail.com, and someone gonna reach you, okay? Also, if you want to go to a psychologist, to have awards. That is a brilliant work doing by the psychologists. I think is a group of four or five people. They are psychologists recognized in Ireland. They are giving a free session. So you just need to go to this website and book. And again, they have meetings in Portuguese and English. So even though you know someone who is struggling, and that person only speaks in English, or it's English is the common language, please recommend this to them as well. Okay. Also, if you don't want to go to a psychologist, you want to go to the spiritual gathering, you can call the Samaritans. No, you can go to Samaritans and call to them. There is someone waiting for your call to give you best advice. Also, I would strongly recommend you to go to this website, mentalhealthireland.ie. So how is your mental health? That's the principle of everything. So you need to be good to make everyone good. Okay? So I'm said a lot. It's more than 5 minutes over. So thank you so much, guys. I hope you are okay. Next Tuesday at 7:15 p.m. Irish time, we will have our dear friend Vanessa Celoni talking to us. Okay? I'll see you. Stay safe. And thank you very much for your time and your patience today. Thank you.